We call
Oh,
phase
that one
A,
back
that
there.
one. It's engineering orientated. Look at that. Square.
Oh, right. Okay, so the design building is the
design building.
engineering square.
We asked, this one is also donation from Mr. Lee. Several years ago. We got an interview lab at the top floor. So we are asking for some more land at that side.
From
So,
Mr. Lee?
no, from the government.
Oh, okay.
Because they are building the highway, railway. Because this is one of the stations. So we hope that we got some place to build another.
I teach classes for people with Parkinson's, and so my students were bringing that article in to show me.
Yeah.
Most of the research, or a lot of the research that I've gotten is from students.
Yeah.
You know, they bring it in because they have, this problem or that problem. They read the research and then they show it to me.
Yeah. You know Steve Wolf, Emory University.
I've read a lot about Emory's research, but I don't know.
Okay. So also 2007, I went to his laboratory and spent 3 weeks with him.
Now, was he the one that did the balance research?
Yes.
Okay.
Very
right.
early. Yeah. People regard him to bring Tai Chi into the scientific world. So in 1998, we established the Center of East-West in Rehabilitation Sciences, because at that time, our former head, Professor Christina Hui Chen from McGill University, she was headhunted by our president and then coming to Hong Kong and then be the head of our department. So her belief is merging the best of the West and the best of the East together in rehabilitation sciences. So from that time onwards, she established the Center of East-West. So we got Tai Chi, Qigong, acupuncture, and all this stuff being funded by the university. And then we start all the research in this area. So from that time onwards, I was part of the team and doing the Tai Chi research.
And what year did that start? What year?
1998.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the establishment of the Center of East-West. Yeah.
So it's been going on for quite a while.
Yes, we still got this center now, but after the changing of the headship, the next head and now the new head, they got their own research direction. So we this center, we still got this center, but it's not active anymore. So only 1 or 2 guys are still doing research on Tai Chi and Qigong.
Mm-hmm. So the person from McGill University, she was the one that was really focused on
Exactly.
Eastern medicine
until now, because I got 2 PhD students. She's the co-supervisor. So these two students are looking at the Tai Chi. Yeah. One is, I will explain it when we go to that lab. The other is using sitting Tai Chi for the very frail elderly. And we look at their balance control, hand coordination, all this stuff.
Well, I wonder if Peter Wayne's book will help you bring that focus back.
Not quite, because we are doing things in a parallel way. Yeah, of course, we try to stimulate each other in the research. Yeah, but as an organization perspective, we don't have that power, that authority to do it. So it's just not from top down. Christine Hui Chen is top down. She got the vision, she established the center, got the funding, and then spearhead the research. But now it's bottom up. So all these one or two people continue to do this stuff without any support from anyone.
Well, I think in a lot of these cases, we were talking about different university research programs, and I think a lot of that came from bottom up. It was people that were interested, and then they were able to show some results. And,
So this we use a lot of the balance equipment for the research in Tai Chi, as you mentioned that Tai Chi move a lot and it's good for balance, especially for the elderly. So this is one of the machine, called the Equal Test. Yeah, so we use it, the sensory organization test, the limb of stability, the single leg standing, provided by the machine, and then compare the Tai Chi group and the non-Tai Chi group. And also we look at after intervention and see whether people balance improve or not. So this is $1 million Hong Kong dollar, $1 million Hong Kong dollar. Of course, for the hardware, it's not that much, but the design, the software,
right.
the originality, that costs a lot.
All the programming.
The program, because this is belong to Louis National, a very famous scientist I think in the 1970. But afterwards, he shifted to the commercial, producing all this machine, and he got his own plane around the world.
One of the things that I've, we're in communication with different researchers, and or teachers that are trying to get grants and so on and so forth. And one of the frustrations that is kind of fomenting with a lot of people is that what we really need to do is to get the kind of funding that could do a comprehensive research study, so that you're not only looking at balance improvement, you're not only looking at cardiovascular benefit, you're also looking at the mind, the stress management, the less depression, the less anxiety, the boosting of the immune system, all these myriad things, where there's a study where you're looking at the whole human being, because Western science is reductionist. So it's like with Tai Chi and Qigong, they're a continuum. You're experiencing this whole body thing that's affecting all different parts of the body all at the same time. Whereas with Western scientific research, by its very nature, it's reductionist, where you're isolating that one thing. But it seems like kind of the next wave that needs to happen at some point is to get the kind of funding that would be required, where you're testing people's helper T cell count, you're looking at their balance, and you're seeing the whole picture. You're doing MRI scans, everything.
I think it's quite natural. If your center got that expertise, then you perform that aspect of research, and this center another expert area. But I think the way forward is to getting all these centers together, and then we got, of course, the outcome measure of the center, because they are the expert, another outcome measure, but we have to relate the outcome measure together. So from all this correlation, relationship, and see the whole thing, the whole picture. Otherwise, just like you said, it's quite fragmented. This one, and that one only, without a whole picture. I think this the idea of Tai Chi and Qigong, huh?
Right. Yeah, the whole
whole thing
persona.
together.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you speak at the Harvard conference in 2014, is it 2014 or 2015?
Yeah.
Maybe you could bring this up.
Yeah.
What we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Let's move on. This is a real research lab. Look at that. So many stuff here. Now, this one, the rotational chair. We stimulate the vestibular system and see how the Tai Chi people maintain the balance. So we spin them and then stimulate the vestibular system and then stop, and then we come down to this force plate and see how they maintain their balance.
I see.
Yeah, so if you're interested, I got one paper describing this research.
That'd be great. What's give us the quick conclusion for the video.
So after the vestibular stimulation, the Tai Chi people can evaluate the signal and then suppress it, because afterwards we ask them to stand on a steady posture, so they can evaluate and then handle it and then suppress it, and using the body sense to maintain their balance. While the non-Tai Chi people, they got confused because all the wrong signal from the vestibular system after rotation gets in, and they use the body sense and they cannot differentiate.
Yeah, you know, in my classes, when I see students getting upset with themselves for their balance going off,
Yep.
what I always remind them is I always say, look, when you're sitting at home in your Easy Boy recliner, your balance is always perfect,
Yep.
but it's getting worse and worse. When you're in Tai Chi, you're always kind of feeling yourself being on the edge of your balance. What it is it's billions of bits of data being exchanged between your left brain, right brain, mind, and body. And so I said, whenever you feel yourself getting frustrated with your balance, just tell yourself that I'm sprouting new neurons. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to feel yourself, you know, when you're doing your Tai Chi. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Let
It's
that
a
be
good
a
thing.
good feeling. So you become more comfortable with the feeling of chaos.
Yeah. From chaos and then to the peace of mind.
Right.
Yeah, because at that time you turn around, you move, and then with all the sensory information coming in, and then you have to differentiate which one is which, and then you handle it in a appropriate manner.
Because you've been practicing.
Yeah. So this is one of the things. The other is eye-hand coordination. So this is a touchscreen monitor. Now it's so common. People touch their mon. But a long time ago, yeah, we got the big mon here, and then we got different visual signal coming out, and then see the eye-hand coordination. So we got 2 papers on Tai Chi on that, and for the Tai Chi practitioner, reaction time, no difference. That means when the visual signal appears, they react. No difference from the non-Tai Chi people. Movement time, how fast they move, no difference. But for the accuracy, they are better.
Oh, okay.
Now, afterwards, we add the mind component inside. So we got the protocol. When a black dot appears, you touch it. White dot appears, you are not allowed to touch it. And then both dot appears, you're only allowed to touch the white dot. You involve a little bit of cognitive. And now, the Tai Chi practitioners become better.
Oh, okay.
Not in reaction time. I think Tai Chi is still not a fast training.
Right.
But the speed difference is not due to the muscle. It's not due to the joint. Because without the cognitive testing, they move similarly. But with the cognitive elements, the Tai Chi people move faster. Yeah, you know, that's exciting. It's recently published in the paper. Yeah. So we think the mind component makes things a little bit different. Yeah.
Well,
So we are geared towards the mind and the body together.
Uh-huh. Well, there was a study that just came out like about 2 weeks ago, or at least it was published about 2 weeks ago, and it was a control group study with students that meditated, and the meditating students they always scored better on the test. In fact, it was so clear that they could actually predict which students were going to pass the quizzes by whether they meditated before they did the quizzes. So I think that really opens up a lot of possibilities for getting mind-body things into education.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then plus, I don't know what it's like in Hong Kong, but with attention deficit disorder, ADHD, yeah, in the U.S. it's like there's so many kids that are on Ritalin and different kinds of psychotropic drugs because they're fidgety.
Yeah.
And the University of Miami School of Medicine, they did a study with teenagers that were diagnosed ADHD, and when they taught them Tai Chi,
He's the guy to talk in the scientific meeting.
but their ADHD symptoms went way down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Hong Kong kids are different. They seem more calm than American kids from what we've seen. I don't know.
Not quite. I think if they suffer that pathology, it's quite similar.
Yeah, but in the U.S. it's like it's epidemic. But what you were talking about, that clarification of the mind that you get, where people were just able to point to the right dot more quickly.
I think now when you're asking the kids to just sit down and doing nothing, it's quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But when they move around and doing something
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, the mind component being trained, I think that's another possible way for the kids.
Yeah, and I
Otherwise,
think
sitting meditation,
right.
very difficult.
Yeah, I think we have
For the normal kids, is even difficult.
Yeah, well, I think as Tai Chi and Qigong professionals and researchers, we have to figure out how to teach these things in age-appropriate ways.
Exactly.
So it's like, way back in the old days, like the Shaolin Temple or something. I'm sure they didn't teach the little kids the same way that they taught the
Exactly.
teenagers.
I think we have to modify.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just like I think when I visited Emory University, I got a chance to visit the elderly center, and instead I don't know I don't know whether the Atlanta got some connection with Hawaiian, because when they are doing Tai Chi, they teach the elderly just like big wave, just like Hawaiian wave, and it's blowing, something like that. All the elderly enjoys. Yeah, so instead of doing the traditional Tai Chi way, they incorporate all this imagery, all these culture-related things together to make the participants enjoying.
Right.
So once they enjoy, that's the key thing.
Right.
When they enjoy it, you'll continue to do it.
Well, it's all conception, because if you describe to a foreigner picking a needle from the ocean, right, from the ocean floor or something like that, right, they would have no idea what you're talking about, right? So they have to describe it a different way so that the image is different.
Well, I had a teacher in Arizona, and when they did, we call it single whip down. When her students, it was mostly women, mostly housewives. So when they did single whip down, it was putting dishes in the dishwasher.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of the things we've found with World Tai Chi and Qigong Day is every culture teaches Tai Chi and Qigong in their own way.
Yeah.
So it's like you see, how they're finding ways to make Tai Chi and Qigong Brazilian, or Mexican or Canadian or whatever. But I mean, it's still but still adhering to the important concepts. The Chinese Tai Chi and Qigong. The root of it.
Yeah, I think put it into their context is very, very useful. And I mentioned to a group that they got the work injury. They study about just open the door. If you open the door 1 or 2 times a day, no problem. You just open it. But for the worker, they open thousands of times each day. The problems come.
Yep.
And I said, maybe in Tai Chi we got all these things. Yeah, instead of just all the force over your shoulder. You got your
dantian,
waist, dantian, you got your hip, your lower limb, and then do it together. Yeah, it's more protective. So it's ergonomic.
Right.
Ergonomic.
Right. Well, and we've done corporate things. We call it ergonomic.